And yes, you saw the title correctly. We were talking about how Shador Sanders and Cam Ward are not top 3 pick worthy at all. So before we get into this video, let me preface what I'm saying first. Do I think Cam Ward and Shador Sanders are going to be picked in the top 3? Yes, I'm not in denial. I know you guys are seeing mocks all over the place. I know you guys are seeing mocks where both of them get picked in the top 3, one of them get picked in the top 3. Yes, people need quarterbacks and they are going to reach for them. But in my opinion, I think it is a reach. I think these teams are making a huge mistake. So let's get right into it. First of all, I really want to say that both of these guys, if you are taking out positional value, I don't think these guys are in the top 20, top 25 when it comes to players. I do not think these guys are generational in the least. And I think people, like I said, are really taking a shot in this top 3 to get these quarterbacks. I think they're taking it because they're at the pick. They're not, and they are afraid maybe they're not going to be in the pick again, and they don't want to go another year without a quarterback. But I think you're looking at 3 guys in this draft that are super talented and can't miss prospects if you don't go to quarterback route. Now, in my opinion, while I don't like Cam Ward, while I don't like Shador Sanders, I think the biggest thing college scouts are really just going into nowadays, they're looking at players that are throwing 40 times, 35, 40 times in a weak conference, spread offense, and just sitting back and throwing all over the place. And I don't think that's a great way to evaluate quarterbacks at all. We look at Cam Ward in the ACC. We look at Shador Sanders in the Big 12. Listen, these are weaker conferences. We saw SEC and Big 10 conferences really win out this year. When you look at Shador Sanders, Cam Ward, we could really say that they did not meet expectations going into the year. Yes, Colorado had a way better year than people thought they were going to, but in that Big 12, the bottom teams really rose to the top. And we were looking at 3-4 weeks out of the season ending that we thought Colorado could possibly win this Big 12 championship. They didn't, and they ended up getting smoked in that game against BYU, in that bowl game. So we saw them really end up folding. And as far as Miami definitely folded. We thought after week 1 that this Miami team could possibly run the ACC. They didn't even make the ACC championship and did not get into the college football playoffs. A team in the ACC that was wide open, that you could argue really had the most talent. Now, when I look at Shador Sanders, when I look at Cam Ward, again, there is nothing to me that stands out about these guys. I don't think these guys are alpha males in the slightest. I mean, you're looking at their frame. They're both 6'2". You're looking at the back end of height that you would really take for an NFL quarterback. Again, their size is not overwhelming. And when you look at the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, they are alpha males. When you look athletically, I don't think either of these guys are off the charts athletically at all either. I do like Cam Ward's ability to extend plays a little more than Shador Sanders. But again, these guys run when they have to. They're not really too much of a threat with their legs. And their arm talent, again, in the same type of category. You're looking at slightly above average arm talent. You're not looking at a guy that could throw the ball out of a gym. I think really in all aspects, these guys' ceilings are pretty low. And again, I think you could get bust worthy out of these guys. Now, when you look at the people they're compared with too, the people going in the top 5, you look at Abdul Carter, you look at Travis Hunter, you look at Tetiora McMillan. These guys are can't miss cornerstones for these NFL teams. And when you look at the NFL teams drafted in the top 3 as well, these guys are going to need an alpha male quarterback to compete. I mean, you're looking at the Titans that are in the AFC that's loaded with quarterbacks. You're looking at the Browns that are in the division in the AFC with 2 alpha males in Joe Burrow, in Lamar Jackson, and they're in the AFC obviously with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and others. And then you look at the Giants. They're in a tough NFC East division. I mean, you look at Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. They're in the Super Bowl right now. You look at Jaden Daniels. He's going to be in that division for years to come, and he looks like a complete stud. And you always got to worry about the Dallas Cowboys, as they're always good too, really outside this year with injuries. But again, I think if you're taking these quarterbacks, you're taking a shot in the top 3 just because you have that pick and you're worried you're not going to be there again. But let me tell you something. If you pick Shador Sanders, you pick Cam Ward, with those 3 teams, what they have, you'll be in the top 3 again next year. And this is why I think they should take an absolute can't miss cornerstone like the 3 players I just mentioned. Let's go over the 3 players. First off, the best player in this draft, I think, is Abdul Carter for sure. I think when you look at him as a defensive end, you're looking at a Miles Garrett. You're looking at one of the Bosa brothers. This is a can't miss game changer on your defense. This is a guy that's going to constantly throw double teams, and he's going to change the whole fraction of that side of the ball on how he rushes the passer. If you want to change one side of the ball, you're not going to do it with one of these quarterbacks. You're going to do it with a guy like Abdul Carter. Can completely change and draw double teams. Imagine him on the Browns along the opposite side of Miles Garrett. That defense would be unreal. You're looking at Abdul Carter again, like I believe was the best player in college football last year. And you look at him in a semifinal game against Notre Dame, where he was a game time decision win in that game. And despite the fact that Penn State lost, he was the best player in that game. You heard his name constantly throughout that game. And this was a guy, like I said, that was a game time decision. That was noticeably injured, and it didn't matter. He was the best player on the field. Listen, if I have number one pick in the NFL draft, I'm taking a guy like Abdul Carter. I'm trying to stack the most amount of great players I can for one of these bottom teams. And then when a quarterback comes around, I'm going to do that. Or I may take a shot at free agency, but I'm not taking a top 3 shot on one of these guys. Then we get into Travis Hunter. Again, I think Travis Hunter is a great pick within the top 3. Because realistically, if you're a top 3 team, let's face the facts. You need a player on offense, on defense. You need help on both sides of the ball. And Travis Hunter is going to be able to do that. The only reason I have Abdul Carter a little ahead of Travis Hunter, again, like I said, I think Abdul Carter is a can't-miss guy compared to those pros, and I think he has a little Michael Parsons in him where he played linebacker and defensive end. Again, like I said, I think he's can't-miss compared to those pros. The only thing about Travis Hunter I don't like is we've never seen anything like Travis Hunter. I know everybody looks at that as an advantage, but it can come as a disadvantage as well. He goes to one of these bum franchises, constantly you're going to be asked as a coach, why don't you play him in this situation? Why don't you play him in this situation? So it's just a bad organization really developing a talent that really has never been seen before. But again, I love him as a top 3 pick. Like I said, you need help on both sides of the ball. Again, I think the best use for Travis Hunter is going to be as primarily a defensive back, and then you use packages for him on offense. I think it's a lot easier to use a player in packages on offense than it is for defense. And again, like I said, he could really help you on both sides of the ball, which is what you need. And I think the other thing, too, that's pretty crazy that nobody talks about, you basically have double the chance for him to succeed. He may be only a really good corner in the NFL, but you get a really good corner. Or you may only really succeed as a receiver in the NFL, but you have double the chance for him to succeed as he plays both positions at a high level in college. I absolutely love it. Like, if you're a horrible team, like I said, you need help on both sides of the ball, and Travis Hunter could help you in both ways. And then my third option, again, in the top 3, I would go with Tetairoa McMillan. I think Tetairoa McMillan is an absolute stud. I think he's a better receiver than Travis Hunter, again, but he doesn't play both sides of the ball. But again, you're looking at a guy with Mike Evans' size that has way better yards after the catch ability. This guy explodes. He's elusive. Again, he's really just an X outside receiver. He can play in the slot if you need. But again, I think you're looking at a can't miss receiver prospect that's an absolute cornerstone. So to sum it up, in my opinion, I really believe that there are top three can't miss guys that are insane talents for their position. And again, I think if you're taking a Cam Ward, you're taking a Shedeur Sanders, you're just taking a shot because you have that pick and you really are in desperate need for that position. That wraps up this little video for Sloppy Saturdays. Subscribe down below, and we are